On Second Shot, we tackle 2 new headlines every week to find out what kind of wisdom the world is dishing out today. And we want you to be a part of that. When you see a headline you want to take a second shot at, or if you're looking for advice, or just want to tell us what you think of the show, email us at secondshotcast@gmail.com. If you like what you hear, rate us on iTunes. This helps us move up in the ratings so more people will see us. And if you want to hear more, subscribe to the show so that the new episodes will get straight to you every single Friday. We love you. Thanks for listening, and enjoy.
Heath Oaks is a millennial mogul whose ignorance on fire led him to fail his way to success. Jenny Anchondo is an Emmy Award-winning journalist whose sharp eye and biting wit have led to her storied career in television. Together, they tackle today's headlines in a way only an odd couple with a dash of perfect opposite can. So kick back, relax, and join the conversation. This is Second Shot with your hosts, Heath and Jenny.
You know what all I can think about right now?
Food? Your monster drink?
Nope.
What?
That we're going to be in Hawaii in like 2 or 3 weeks, chilling on the beach.
Wow.
I am so excited.
Colonial Life trip. Colonial Life's world incentive trips are the best there are. I mean, they treat you just first class, top notch, and here's Hawaii. So we're going to be in Hawaii in a couple weeks. What?
That's gonna
I
be
am
great.
so excited. We went to Maui together with the Colonial too. It was Bora Bora and Maui that year. And this year we are going to Kauai,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Which is really fun. The other really fun part about it is one of my really close friends, like longtime friends, is now with Colonial, and she made the trip. So now I feel like I've got a crew there. It's not just
that's
Heath and his
cool.
coworkers. It's me and my friends.
Yeah.
I've got my own crew, my own
Building
clique.
up our own clique.
I'm
Not
building
just
up-
lame Heath and his lame friends.
Yeah, now I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, here's
You're
what we're
gonna-
all doing for dinner tonight.
That's right.
You're going to land and never see her again because she's going to run off. With
Yeah, exactly.
I know that's how it was in Australia.
Yeah.
You know,
Meet back up at the airport.
Yeah.
I know.
Australia was a Colonial Life trip too.
Babe, I am so I literally,
Yeah.
this is not like a recruiting video for your company, but I am so thankful.
Yeah, for sure.
They treat people really well. I've never worked for a company that so much as gave me a Thanksgiving lunch when I was working the holiday.
In broadcast journalism? No.
I know.
unbelievable.
And, and those are great. I mean, look, it's just each company is different, and those jobs were great. But I mean, your company is really phenomenal. So I'm excited for the
And
trip.
we do have the band back together for 2 weeks in a row, which is big with Zach, Matt, Jenny, everybody in the house.
Yes.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
You know what's one thing we don't ever talk about that I'd like to know, because I guess I don't ever talk about it, but it would be good with y'all because my wife is not. Like, do y'all have any like Netflix or any kind of like little binges lately that you recommend?
It's funny. That's like my number one go-to question when I'm getting a haircut with like a barber I don't know. I'm always like, so what do you watch on Netflix? What's here? And everybody's always got an answer.
And
They're
not
always
ju-
like, oh
and-
yeah,
well,
I like
it's like-
Hulu or something. Everybody watches something, right?
You know,
Yeah.
but here's the thing: is Netflix has turned into the word Netflix has turned into like a in Texas, when you say, what do you want to drink? I want a Coke. Well, what kind of Coke? Pepsi or Mountain Dew, right?
Oh.
Sure. It's
Coke
like a
is
verb
just
now.
used as
Yeah,
a.
yeah.
So like
Yes, it's a
Netflix
verb.
has kind of used that because people may be watching from the Amazon Prime Video. They may watch HBO Now.
Sure.
I have an answer.
But because what's yours?
We watched Cheer.
Oh yeah.
And I feel like
Cheer.
finally
Oh,
everybody
right.
understands my life a little bit better. Well, I just think people just
That
think
was
of-
insane.
of
That was
Cheer
in
as being
Corsicana.
so soft. To be honest with you, I enjoyed it, but it wasn't like, wow, this is so crazy and shocking, because I cheered all through high school and cheered in college and cheered for a NIFL team, which I don't even think
didn't know that.
exists anymore, but it was
Yeah.
like a quote unquote professional cheer job. But I just liked that everybody kind of has a greater grasp and understanding of the athletic component of it. And it was really cool to see it so close to where we are here in Dallas, for it to be in Corsicana and close to where Heath grew up.
Being Corsicana is what's insane to me. Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll save that to the third segment to have that as the question.
Okay,
so
we'll
we
save
talk
it, yeah.
into it.
Oh, okay.
Because I have something
Because
else to say.
now they're bringing up. There's some other good ones to bring
that,
up on that stuff actually.
Okay.
And because Zach's got our holding tight on our first headline over
We
there.
do. We had a long article this week,
Yes.
so I'm going to try to blast through it. XFL Commissioner Oliver Luck reveals the league's most critical key to challenging the NFL. The XFL, have you guys heard about this? Matt?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh,
of
yeah.
course.
Oh, yeah.
The XFL, yes.
Only you have not.
After that, not a sports ball guy. After 19 long years since its last attempt to wrestle the football crown away from the NFL, the XFL is finally back and giving football fans something to cheer for. The resurrected league personally
personally financed by World Wrestling Entertainment CEO Vince McMahon, is hardly comparable to its 2001 past iteration, which even McMahon himself and the current commissioner admitted was a flat-out failure. See, I didn't know this.
Yeah.
They tried to do this 19 years ago.
Yeah.
They did.
That was a surprise to me.
Yeah.
I really didn't know. I knew there had been some kind of competitors. I guess they were one of them. I just didn't really know a lot about it. But what's surprising here is that apparently Vince McMahon and Oliver Luck, the commissioner, have straight up said, yeah, 19 years ago was a total bomb. Didn't work out. And apparently they've been very public about that, and they've said, here's why. Here's why we didn't think it worked. Here's some of the reasons. And here's some of the things we're changing now. It's weird, right, to come back around and say, hey, we tried and we failed on the world stage, but here's what we're going to do. They're going to cut out things like nicknames on the back of people's jerseys because they want storylines to develop on the field. They want people to kind of bring that stuff in. They're going to partner with companies like FanDuel and DraftKings to incorporate gambling more than the NFL does. Apparently, they've got some safety regulations they've said that are better.
Yep.
They're doing things differently, and that's interesting. Now, I haven't seen the game because they just started playing, right?
And because you don't watch sports.
Also, because I don't watch the sports. That's
Dallas
also
has
true.
a team.
Dallas had the Dallas Renegades.
Yeah, Heath and I watched.
do.
It was
Okay.
fun.
Yeah.
Good time. I mean,
Oh, I thought it was great football.
Yeah.
I thought it was the first go around of the XFL. After 1 week of watching, I said, I'm never watching this crap again. Because it was like him trying to bring wrestling into football too much. And it was like way too much of
Like acting.
yeah, it just was very, it wasn't good football.
showboat.
There is a really good
Showboating.
there is a really good ESPN 30 for 30 on that where they interview Vince and
From back in the day.
Dick Ebersol. No, they just made it like last year, I want to say, and it's just kind of recounting like what happened, why the XFL failed. It is worth noting that it did inspire things like the Skycam that you see in NFL games today. Like they did take some things from it, but the league was a failure, but it did introduce some interesting concepts, I think, to the game that they still borrow today.
What I think is interesting too is that there's multiple football leagues that have tried over the years and failed one after another.
NIFL, which I mentioned, right? That I was
Yep.
a cheerleader for, National Indoor Football League.
Yeah, the
It was around for several years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they did well. Some people made money on it, and
yeah.
you know.
And then the USFL back in the day too. I mean, just this past year, the American Alliance Football League that was, had all the big name people that were all behind it, and it lasted 7 games. And then them as XFL themselves have already attempted it and felt like there's been so much at it, and there's something to say about just like the persistence of wanting something so bad, and like how there's almost very much of a calculation for him to. I think I would be willing to bet on them making it this time because he's already tried it once and failed, so he knows firsthand the stumbling blocks. So there's no way he didn't already account for some of those major stumbling blocks. And you can tell because he learned his lesson so much that he paid more attention to the actual football on the field versus the antics around it that he was trying to do the first time. So there's something to say about like when you see those people that maybe have failed at stuff that are going after something again, like maybe it's time to bet on it because you don't keep doing it and it not work out sooner or later for you. There's something about that failing and going back again and recalculating, retooling, learning your lessons and doing all over again. The problem would be is if you're one of those people that you fail and stuff and never learn your dadgum lesson and you keep trying the same thing and do not learn to change.
Right.
That's when you're not the brightest in the world. You got to learn from your lessons.
Well, we talked a little bit about this last episode when it came to the Oscars, and we mentioned like nothing is forever, right? And there's no people would look at what they're doing and saying, "Why are you trying this again? Why are you trying to take down?" And they're not trying to take down the NFL, but they're trying to offer an alternative. But we talked a little bit about this. Like the NFL is not necessarily going to be here forever, and there's nothing wrong with learning from your lessons and saying, "All right," or learning from your failures and saying, "Okay, I'm going to take another shot at this. This is not something that is forbidden for me to try, and to go out there and give it another shot and see if you can learn the right things and maybe offer a viable alternative to the NFL or just football in general."
I like what both of you said about this, and I will even take it a little bit further with regard to how you look at yourself, whether you label yourself the person who failed at creating the thing, or whether you look at yourself as the person who knows more about that business and about what doesn't work than anybody else.
That's a lot.
So right. So not about like, oh, I'm better than other people or like that kind of mean comparison, but truly like if you've gone through something like this and you do have a mindset that's open to learning from the failures, then you are elevated above any new person, no matter how much funding or education they have in that realm, because you've checked off all the things that didn't work. And I do think there's something to be said for that. Somebody has to have a lot of confidence to start a football league and have it not work and then come back and do it again. And I really, I don't know if envy is the right word. Like I really look up to that kind of confidence, and I hope that it does work this time around. It sounds like they're off to a pretty good start, or, like we enjoyed watching the game and everything. But I would just encourage you, if you're kind of like looking down on yourself, but in your heart, it's still something you want to do. Like say you wanted to start a salon, you kind of got going right out of beauty school, and it was like, man, I couldn't get any clients. Like I couldn't get anybody in the booths, like whatever the thing is. And then we closed down, and then you worked for somebody else. And in the back of your mind, you're still thinking, no, I like have that entrepreneurial spirit and I want to open a salon. Like maybe reframe and think, I know everything that doesn't work, and that's powerful.
Go again.
Yeah.
Like it's okay. It's right. Is that what you're saying? Like, it's okay to strike out again. It's okay.
It's scary. I'm risk averse when it comes to finances. So I think that's what, when I think about like things that I want to do in media, I think about, oh gosh, like risk reward money wise.
Yeah.
Like, okay, where are we going to go with that? So I do think you have to be smart about it, but also know that if you've tried things and they haven't worked, like you have an edge on the people who never tried.
Oh, yeah. Well, and honestly, some of the best top consultants or anything would be the people who have tried things that hadn't made it, because a lot of these other people have learned in a school or a textbook, and theory is completely different than actual hands-on learning, like going through it. And so I will take somebody who has tried something that has failed it to teach me something versus somebody who's never done it but just read about it, because that person may have failed, but they actually know what those stumbling blocks are. I mean, you can plan for all the roadblocks in the world, but sometimes the stuff that comes out of nowhere, you cannot plan for, and you do not know what's coming. And it just requires jumping off and taking a leap in order to get that going. I'm rooting for the XFL. I like it. I think it's perfect. It starts right after the Super Bowl. The play on the field was great. I think it would be great to give a lot of players opportunities to keep playing some football and making their way back at the NFL. They're smart. They're not trying to compete with the NFL. They're just another league, another alternative. When the NFL is over, you have something to watch there. I think it's super smart. I'm rooting for them. I root for anybody who's trying. If you're going to go out there and you've been knocked off your horse and you're getting back up on it and you're going after it again, I'm a fan of yours. If you get knocked off and you lay there and say, woe is me, I'm not as big of a fan of. Get back up, try something else, try it again. It can happen. We'll be back in a minute on the second segment of Second Shot.
He makes up words, she translates them. Heath and Jenny host more of Second Shot, coming up on RNCN.
Quick break to tell you about, a company that has saved us in so many different ways. You've heard us talk about myllc.com. So this is the space that we've gone to when we are setting up LLCs. They also set up corporations. And what they do is they make sure that all the legal stuff is checked off, and they also make sure that it's sent to you in the most succinct, efficient way. So that's one thing. The other thing that you get is, I'm somebody that I was really new to business. I did not study business. This is really a new part of my experience. So I was able to, get them on the phone and have them explain what we were doing and what we were walking through. So they have actually made a really generous offer for our listeners. You're going to get $99 off the formation of a new LLC. So if you are starting a big business or a corporation, this works. Also, if you're somebody who's doing kind of a side hustle, you gotta protect that money in that business and put it in something separate and create an LLC for it. So the code is 99myllc, or you can go to myllc.com/secondshot and then go through, and that will give you the opportunity to save $99 off the formation of an LLC or a corporation. You guys know we wouldn't have anybody on here if we didn't believe in them 1,000,000,000%, and if we hadn't used them ourselves over and over and over again. So again, myllc.com/secondshot, or use the code 99myllc.
Ready? Aim. Fire. Second Shot is back for another round on RNCN.
Here's how you know something's bad. Right before this segment started, my wife's like, "Oh, just got a text from the builder about the closet, and he's gonna make." And she's got that look. I'm like, "Oh my God, what did you tell him? What are you adding to this closet now? This closet is already bigger than our current master bedroom. Why? What? I'm going to be very surprised at what the heck now is getting." Here's one of the biggest downsides of building a house for 3 years. That closet has had time to grow and grow and grow.
It has.
Hey, just like your family and your love.
Yeah.
Exactly. Thank you, Zach. The newlywed with the more
Yeah.
nostalgic feelings.
That's right.
I'm very nervous when she looks over at me with that look of like, "Ooh, Brian texted," and he's
what's
like,
a couple
I'm like,
extra
"Oh."
square feet?
I'm just
all
going
right?
to say, I don't know the square feet. It's fine. It's appropriately sized, modest closet. It's
Okay.
fine for
Mhm.
Dallas.
Yeah.
For Texas. So here's the thing. The building of the house, I'm not a design person. I'm, I guess maybe aesthetics person in terms of like fashion and cosmetics and things like that. In terms of overall home decor, I don't know a lot. So it's been, I don't know. It's like, gosh, it's draining and I don't want to make a mistake and it's kind of scary and I don't want to pick out the wrong stuff and have it end up look crazy ugly.
Yeah.
But with the closet, I do feel like I know what I'm doing. So I feel like I can confidently go forward and say, okay, I know what I want here. I know what I want here. I know what I want here. And I think sometimes people expect that women are just going to be like good at design, or good at decorating or good at picking out knobs or like opinionated about it. I don't care. The house is going to be great. We're going to, our family's going to be in it, and which will make it special. But then the closet.
This closet, I think, is going to be something like whenever it's done. Well, we're gonna have to do a
gonna have a
podcast
podcast
in
inside
there
of it.
because, like,
That's a great idea.
Y'all are just
Set up your own studio in there.
Yeah, we're gonna let everybody see the
Look,
podcast.
we need to get a couple GoPros, all right, when this whole house comes together, and we'll get a little remote set up, and we'll do it in 3 different rooms, 3 segments, 3 rooms of the house. It's brilliant. It'll be a little tour for everybody.
Perfect.
For everybody to be like, this house is so cool, and one of them should definitely be the closet. Think of the acoustics in there; it'll sound great.
Perfect.
Yeah.
It'll be perfect.
It's going to be good. So anyway, so Brian will be happy that I won't be wishy-washy on the closet. I know what I want in that one area. And I think I'm getting better at it. I'm trying to have a growth mindset so that if we ever do this again, I will
We're
be...
not doing this in any near future. This I can guarantee.
Okay. Well, I would be up for it
Whoa.
because now I feel like I've learned how it works.
Yeah.
Anyway, babe,
Anyway,
what's our
Somebody's
headline?
patience who's not very good as mine, I can't be tested.
God is teaching you
God
something.
has taught me
Some
a
of-
lot about patience.
some of my favorite second shot stuff is the personal stuff. I want you to know that from the bottom of my heart. Like, my favorite stuff is the stuff that makes it on the air. So, our second headline: more than half of Americans in relationships are food cheaters. Over half of Americans are cheating on their partners with food, according to new research. A poll of 2,000 Americans in relationships found 71% make unhealthy choices behind their partner's back, and 55% have hidden food in their home from their partner. 7 in 10 actually lie to their partners about unhealthy eating habits. It's conducted by one poll. 2,000 Americans were polled. 68% said their partner negatively influences their eating habits. Oh, that's horrible.
No,
I
it's
wish I
so
hadn't read
true.
that. Whoa, really? You think?
Yeah.
That seems really dark. What's surprising about this is 54% say eating well is one way to improve the health of a relationship. Another 54% said they believe eating well can contribute to improving just back and forth, like personal health and the partner's health and their communication, everything. So eating well is probably good for a relationship, but people also eat very poorly behind their partner's back, which makes them food cheaters.
I eat poorly in front of my partner's face. I would say I try to eat healthier, not when I'm not with him, because I know when I'm with him, it'll be like a little bit unhealthier. So I try to like make up for it.
I eat better when I'm around Jenny. I make better choices.
Yeah.
So you food cheat on me.
Well, I don't.
Well, I don't have a
hide
regimen
it.
for
yeah,
you.
Yeah, you don't have a regimen for me that says I can and can't. I just. It's easier for me to make better choices when you're around.
Well, I think it's pretty common for couples, don't you think, to do a like, hey, we're going to start Whole30 together, or we're going
Yeah.
to start keto together, or we're going to start, clean eating together, or low carb, or whatever the thing is. So I wonder if that's some of the food cheating, because and the truth is, a lot of those programs are very, very difficult to follow, like over the span of your life, and so you kind of like don't want to break the accountability with your partner.
Yeah. Well, and that's a big thing that makes that stuff work, right? Is the accountability in having another person to go through it with. It's very hard to stick to a diet if one person in the house is not doing it. So you kind of need that other person there along with you. But I'm sure that's what leads to a lot of this is people are out going to work or something like that and be like, gosh, I'm just going to stop by the gas station. Or I'm just going to stop by the donut
Totally.
shop or a
Get some of
McDonald's
that
or something like that.
7-Eleven pizza.
Yeah, exactly. I totally understand it.
But the thing is that's just all common with everything. I mean, my second shot when I think about it is that's why it is so important to make bold statements about what you're going for and letting others know and having them around somehow, because it is psychological. It's everything about triggering when it comes to accountability, because it is much easier for me to, even though like Jenny does not sit there and hound me about food, or like it's not like
No, I
she's
do not
like
believe in
shaming me with any, not at all. But like it's more of her example, because she does eat well. She is very good with it, right? It's not that she tells me anything. It's like, it's much easier for me to stop at a donut shop by myself without nobody knowing than it is with her with me, right? And so when you're doing anything that you've got, it's so important to have people around you that you make statements about what you're trying to do, so that you put yourself in the spot that there's more accountability around you, that you make better choices than not. Because it is, somebody was they were talking about it. They said if you have a morning routine where you consistently can't pass up that fast food place or that donut shop or those one or two bad things, right? Just change up your route to work. So that way you don't put your mind in a position to have to say yes or no to stop.
Yeah.
Go a different route. That can help before you get to the point of having to make the decision. Don't put it on yourself to have to make those tough decisions. Just change your route.
Man, they put donut shops everywhere, though.
I know.
It's hard.
Oh my gosh, you
can't avoid
never
it.
have there been more donut shops than in East Texas. I forget if I've talked about this before, but I mean, the town he's from is pretty small. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's like one school, there's one daycare, there's one gas station, and then like 10 donut shops.
That's the lifeblood of a small Texas
Yeah.
town. Let me tell you, there's like in Springtown there are like 4 donut shops.
There's 3 pawn shops and 8 laundromats. And they're all in the same strip center.
Yeah.
So
Doesn't make
good.
any sense.
I do like that example. And, I was talking to Marisol, who was on an episode probably like a year or two ago, Marisol Beltran. And she was talking about just surrounding herself in general with people who had similar goals, or who had goals that were bigger than hers, not as a way to continue to up level. And I do think that's super important. That doesn't mean that like we don't hang out with our goal oriented friends by any means, because I do think we need all kinds of friendships and relationships. But if you do have a certain particular goal, it is just so much easier whether it's like a health goal or a work goal or a family goal. I mean, like even just this might seem small, but like I've talked about that MOPS group that I go to, and I wouldn't say that I'm somebody that was naturally inclined to really know all the things about mothering and about like child rearing and all that kind of stuff. I'd been so career minded. And so it was like, okay, I joined this group and I'm like, wow, I'm surrounded by like professional mothers.
Yeah.
Like these women they are like on top of their game. So I feel like I'm continually learning from them about just everything from like car seat safety to, how to feed your kids, to different like school programs and things like that. So it can be like in that more, familial space, but it can also be in the health space or career space.
Yeah. What's y'all's second shot on it?
I think a lot of times, like when you're with somebody, with a partner, with my partner at least, Christine, I think the world of her. Like I really do. She's like the coolest person I know, and like I think it's easy to think that person, obviously you think very highly of them and they think very highly of you. That's why you're partners. You don't want to disappoint them.
Yeah.
You don't want them to see you hunched over in your car eating Taco Bell at 3 a.m. again.
But now we know that 68% of people do it.
Yeah, but most people do it
was.
anyway. And like I think a big problem with like secretly eating, right? Like keeping a secret is like it feels
Snowballs.
powerful, right? It feels empowering to be like, I know something you don't know. I've done something you haven't seen. There's something.
Ooh, this is deep.
Yeah, there's something to that. And like that's the problem with like secretly eating things. I've done this before. Of course I've done this before. Like I've definitely swung by a place on the way home after seeing a movie or something and be like, I'll just grab some food. She doesn't need to know. That's horrible.
Yeah.
It's not.
horrible.
I mean, it's not horrible.
No, but
Yeah,
at
but
the
what he's
same
saying is
time,
making
like-
sense. What he's saying is that this may sound like a light topic, but can it lead to others?
It starts to trick your brain a little bit
Yeah.
into like, hey, if I do something and they don't know about it, it's okay. And
They're not
like
gonna find out.
It's the little things, and you don't want to start secretly eating, and also it's just terrible for you. Like you just feel guilty later, so that's not good. So just ultimately, like either don't do it or get them on board. That's the secret.
Yeah, do you
Eat
want to go to Taco
unhealthy
Bell
with
with
them.
me?
Yeah. Call them up and say, hey, I can pick up Whataburger on the way.
My second shot on this is you never get away with it because
Yeah.
Your
My
car
wife-
smells like fast food.
well, no,
but
my
your
wife
waistline's
looks.
gonna
My
show
wife
before
looks
too
at
long.
the. My wife looks at the bank statement. I mean, she keeps up with her finances, much closer than I do. So I could never ever do. There'll be times when I'm like, I'm just gonna slip away. I forgot to bring lunch. I'm just gonna grab lunch a couple times this week, which I try not to do, and and then I'll think, I got away with it. Like she's not upset with me for going to get lunch when it was just my dumb fault for forgetting to bring lunch, because I left home in a hurry. And then a week later, she's like, so you've been going out and get lunch, huh? And it's never like a fight or anything like that, but I never ever get away with it. I can never ever get away with it. So yeah, you're gonna get caught eventually.
That is a good.
Oh, I like that second shot. You will. It's true. You will always
will come back. Yeah,
And
caught.
it's also important to keep track of your finances. That's
Yeah, yeah.
definitely
Yes,
important.
no, absolutely.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
she's doing a good thing.
Yeah, I think indulgence is okay, but do it together.
Yeah.
Right? Go to a nice restaurant together. Like, indulge together. That's the way to do it. Get them in on your food cheating. Then it's your secret from the rest of the world.
Yeah.
And
So-
that's better than anything.
Tenny McCarty, who would be a really good second shot sit down. She's the author of a book called
Oh,
Shades,
actually, yeah, you
Shades
should.
of Hope, has a treatment center in Texas called Shades of Hope. And she always says, you're only as sick as your secrets.
Ooh.
So think about it. You're only as sick as your secrets. And how many of us have secrets that are like have a grip on us like you would not believe?
Oh, yeah.
It can be like a little, went to Taco Bell. It could be something bigger.
2,000
But,
calories.
I just, that one just always like is kind of in the back of my mind whenever I'm tempted to
Yeah.
like have a secret. You know
like
what I mean? But yeah, she would be a really good sit down. I got to work on that.
Yeah, I like that. You're only as sick as your secrets, and it sounds funny and it's funny, haha. But I will tell you that I believe wholeheartedly that a lot of little things can turn into snowballs, because once you can get away with one little thing, you think one more, and it can lead to a lot of things that it's not something. If you know for sure you're hiding anything, I think it's not a good place to be with your spouse, and I think you need to not go down that slippery slope. And because it can lead to things that you're not going to want to get to, I believe. So we'll be back in a minute on the third segment of Second Shot.
Now that's what I call ignorance on fire. More of Heath and Jenny still to come.
Really quick break to invite you to my Safe Swaps group. So I have been on a journey for the last year or so trying to discover safe swaps specifically for skincare and makeup, but we're talking about everything. Aluminum-free deodorant, healthier pans for your cooking, cleaning products, things like that. So if you have been looking to make a shift health-wise and, really start off 2020 on a different step for you and your family, that is what's going down in the Safe Swaps group, and I'm inviting you to join us. So the group is facebook.com/groups/safe swaps. You'll be asked a couple of questions, in terms of why would you want to join and what you're hoping to learn. And then I will connect with you with my master list. I have made a master list of the safe swaps for skincare, makeup, home products, baby products, things that are non-toxic, things that contain certified organic ingredients, things that are made in the USA. All the goodness, all the wellness, it is there. So I hope to see you. Again, it's facebook.com/groups/safe swaps.
Kick off your boots or suit up. The choice is yours. Welcome back to Second Shot on RNCN.
Look at you dancing and flopping around and just all happy.
It's not flopping.
Flopping
It's
around.
not
That's
flopping.
She's
what
probably still so happy
What a
because
lovely way to refer to someone's dancing.
I know that was an epic failure. I
Flopping
shouldn't-
is when you pretend.
Look, I'm not the most wordsmith in the world. Let's just be real.
not
Swaying
the
around.
most wordsmith
Exactly.
in the world.
But, I mean,
you
so
are not.
I do
babe.
have a good excuse. It's not my fault.
That's not an excuse.
Did I
anymore.
do that?
That's
you're
not
so
an excuse
charming,
anymore. You
right?
are so charming.
Matt got that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Zach didn't get it.
I-
Family
Zach's
Matters? Hold
too
on.
young.
Hold on, I know what Family Matters is. Yeah.
No,
You do.
Steve Urkel. Yes,
okay,
of course.
Stefan Urkel.
Stefan
Stefan
Urkel.
Urkel.
Remember him? I loved when he came back as Stefan.
Yeah.
That's what it was all
So
about.
good.
Oh, Urkel.
Oh, Urkel.
You had a email that came in from one of your sit downs, right?
Yes, Michael Hayes. You guys remember Michael from 52 Lunches?
Very, very cool guy.
He was great. Great episode just because he just had a lot to say about his mission and his goal of meeting with 52 people for lunch within a year. I heard a follow-up from him and I just wanted to give you some of the highlights from it. He said he wanted to let us know what's happened since the podcast. His totally opposite friend was the first to reach out. After listening to the podcast, it really
Oh,
impacted
cool.
him. He shared it. He says, "Thanks to Heath, shaming works." My childhood friend reached out to ask if she was one of the original 52 that he mentioned on the show who didn't make it. So they met for a 2.5-hour lunch. He also hooked up with one of the nonprofits. He has a glass tinting business. And so I was able to connect him with a shelter, women's shelter in town. And he was able to, for the first time in his business, get to a level of success that was great enough that he was able to donate back to the community and give his services for free. And he said several people have responded telling him that they are going to work on 12 friends this year. So it is not too late, you guys. If you're looking for meaningful connection in your life, Michael was such a great example of that. He made a goal of 52 lunches throughout the course of the year. Maybe you want to do 12. Maybe you want to, start with a different number, maybe one a month. Maybe you could do a couple on these first couple months. The way that it transformed his life is remarkable. And so if you're already doing that, please let us know. We've heard from a lot of you. So let us know if you're going to do the 52 lunches or maybe even just one lunch a month. Matt, have you still only had one this whole year?
I still only have had one this whole year. Yes.
Okay.
Sounds very sad.
Maybe
It's because his wife's checking
here's the
his
thing.
credit card statement.
yeah, no.
Sounds
Well, he
very
sounded very sad. He was like, his tone went
I
down.
feel that last
He was
week,
like,
too.
I feel shamed a little bit.
Yeah.
Because
You
I
feel
did say
shamed.
I
It's
did say
okay.
I wanted to try it.
Sure.
Part of the problem is I don't really have a whole lot of friends that live in Dallas, so it's hard
I
to
get that.
get away for a lunch or a work lunch. So it has to be kind of a weekend thing. But hopefully I can make some strides on that and become a better lunch having person
Yeah.
at some point in the future.
A big part of that's your work setup. You guys are back to back here.
Yeah.
There's so
Yeah,
many things
it
It
going
is
on.
busy. Yeah, I've got something to go do right after this.
It's
so,
a busy work day.
yeah.
I totally get that.
and the shaming of leave us a rating and review. Please share the episodes with your friends. Use our sponsors. They actually work. EnergyOgre.com. Use promo code Second Shot, get a month free. Also, myllc.com/Second Shot. If you go to that site and you set up LLCs, S Corps, or anything for anything you've got, they're going to get $99 off if you use the promo code, Second Shot's promo code. And you go to myllc.com/Second Shot.
And it's so legit. They're seriously the nicest, coolest people, and they will be so supportive of your business.
We've got ratings and reviews over our sponsors because we are very hand selected with these sponsors. These sponsors are not.
It's true.
We 100% use them, and they are not a wide we don't have a big mass thing out there with lots of them. We only have right now currently those two.
And now our question of the week, which we're going to talk about in the beginning, but this is going to go too
Yes.
long. So I guess, should the question be, what's your current binge, listen, or watch or whatever? I don't watch any Netflix. Or unless Heath and I have a date night scheduled, I think just in terms of, I don't know, it's just not a priority for me, obviously, right now. I'm still back in 1990, and I like to watch The Bachelor. But I will say I love a documentary, and next on my list that I'm hoping Heath is going to watch with me, or maybe some friends will watch with me, is a new show out called Toxic Beauty. It premiered in local theaters over the last month, and now it's on Amazon. Toxic Beauty. It's a lot about talc and ingredients in products. In my Safe Swaps group, I'm going to watch it first and then post about it in the Safe Swaps group. So just to find out if it's legit and if there's a lot of research behind it and stuff, but there's definitely something to all of us needing to look at what's in our beauty products.
But your current binge-worthy one is Cheer.
But
the
Cheer,
one
yes.
that was on Netflix. And,
Yes.
and I've said Netflix is now like the, like in Texas
Coke.
when you say the Coke, and it's what kind. Netflix, I think, is the, okay, which platform was that one on, right?
Right.
I would say the most intriguing one, I just finished with The Pharmacist.
The pharmacist.
Ooh, what's that about?
Super good.
Okay.
About this, it's a guy down in South Louisiana. His son, he's a pharmacist. His son was killed buying drugs, and the cops weren't even paying attention, trying to find the murder really, because there were so many that happened there. And he went on this obsessive of being a detective to where he hunted down and found the killer. And then,
Is this true?
yes, absolutely. And
good.
it's a documentary deal. And then he turned around then, and it turned him to OxyContin, where he, as a pharmacist, started seeing it, realizing that his son really kind of got started with some of those drugs that a lot of people were, and how this is when the OxyContin in the early 2000s when it really started taking off, and that he single-handedly was obsessive over getting these doctors that were running pill mills down and like is just a person that just it's really cool. The Pharmacist on Netflix. Go after it. It's good.
I'm sad that
sounds
you already
very
watched it
interesting.
because now I'll never watch it
Yeah.
because I only watched
Find your
stuff
own
with
personal
him.
time. Yeah.
Right. I mean, you could, but yeah.
I won't.
Matt, you had a cool one you'd mentioned the other day.
I'm trying to think of which one you're talking
It was
about.
an HBO joint.
Well, yeah, the ones that I'm going to mention are a couple of the HBO joints. So
Yeah.
if you don't have access to that, steal somebody's login.
There you go.
Or borrow somebody's login.
That's the right answer.
The first one, and the reason
We
I
don't
like these.
condone stealing.
No,
No.
sorry, borrow.
It's a family
ask them, yeah.
login is what it is. Yeah, family friends. You know.
So the first one, which came out a few months ago, is their series on Chernobyl, which is really, really incredible.
so dark.
It's very dark, but it's a very it's sort of it's not a documentary. It's a drama series, but all of it is based on fact, and both of these I'm going to mention have accompanying podcasts that HBO has produced. They give you interviews with either the writer or the director or the people who made it, which is really, really like some nice behind the scenes stuff and just explain things a little bit more. The other one is currently ongoing. It's called McMillions, and it's about.
I listened to a podcast on that.
Yeah, it is about the Monopoly, the McDonald's Monopoly game, which for the first decade of its existence had no legitimate grand prize winners. They were all stolen. And so this is a story about the FBI's sting operation to figure out who was stealing who was rigging the game and who all benefited and bringing down the legitimate crime ring that was running this thing. It's a few episodes in right now. It's a 6-part series, so you can't binge it quite yet. But it does also have an accompanying podcast where they interview the documentary filmmakers, or the documentary filmmakers interview other subjects that little expanded interviews, and it's really cool. Both of those are very much worth watching if you're into documentaries or into history and stuff like that. And the McMillions show has some very, very fascinating characters in it, some people that you'll just fall in love with. I mean, it's a really, really well-made documentary.
I've been watching a childish show I just started watching called BoJack Horseman, which I don't know anything about, and people have always told me it's good. So if you watch it and you're in the comments, let me know what you think. I'm looking for a new series, and I haven't really found anything yet. I found a documentary I like a lot that actually just won the Academy Award for Best Documentary. It's a movie called American Factory. It's on Netflix. Fascinating documentary about a Dayton, Ohio factory, GM plant that closed in 2012 and then reopened in 2015 with a Chinese company called Fuyao Glass. And it's a Chinese company that has come over and picked up a American factory and hired American workers and is trying to run it like they run a factory in China. And it is so fascinating. Because it is a totally different workplace, and their rules and regulations are completely different because their government is totally different. And I think we all have this idea of like American factory, American companies picking up and moving their factories to China. This is the opposite. And it's so cool. And I was all about it. It just won an Academy Award. It's a great movie. But I'm looking for a series. Hit me up in the comments.
Two of my fun ones.
Facebook.com/groups/second
Two of my fun ones are both on Showtime app, the Showtime app, you know?
Yeah.
And Billions.
What's that about?
It's
Billions.
Billions, about a big hedge fund manager guy.
Okay.
Their deal. It's really good.
Yeah.
These are nothing. These are not documentaries. These are just pure shows. Billions is one of, and then Shameless. Shameless is
What's Shameless?
Oh, yeah.
Babe, you have so much knowledge.
Like 8 seasons. Yeah.
yeah, like 9 or 10 or something. You gotta not be offended. You can't be a sensitive person and watch
I'm
Shameless.
too sensitive, right?
I don't
Would
know.
I be offended?
No, you would just be appalled that this is actually real life. That some of that stuff can
horrified
be
that
real
your
life.
husband's been watching.
Yeah,
this
but it's
show.
just funny. I love it. It's just hilarious. It's like the epitome of what's wrong with America in a lot of ways. Sometimes I just love it. I think
Really?
it's funny.
But it's true?
No, it's not true.
Oh, okay. See, I think
But
I'm
I think
only
no,
intrigued
it's a
by
cool
the
show. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
No, it's a made up show. But that happens in real life.
It's supposed to be
Right,
set
it is
like
based in
reality.
truth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is not like. I mean, a lot of people like to act like this doesn't happen, but it does. But look them up. Shameless and Billions, I think, is great. Leave us a rating and review, and tell us about your friends.
Yeah. Tell us what you've been watching.
Tell us about your
I
friends.
know. I realized I said that.
Tell us about your friends.
Hey, just let us know. Like, we want to hear about your friends.
Tell us about
what are they
your
like?
friends. We are
what are they like?
spiraling out of control on this podcast. We love
Time to
you
wrap it
guys.
up.
Yeah.
Time to wrap it up. We see that some of you are road tripping. We're seeing different cities all across the country popping up. And for that, we are
Yeah.
incredibly grateful. We really want this show to just keep rocking and rolling, and it really is because of all you guys. So thank you so much.
Where can they find you?
JennyAndChando.com is my website. Also in the Safe Swaps group, facebook.com/group/Safe Swaps, and I'll watch Toxic Beauty and tell you what I think.
At Apple Zackintosh on Twitter and Instagram. I do a movie podcast, Off Script Film Review. I think we're off this week, so I probably shouldn't have plugged it. What is worth watching on Netflix or Hulu or whatever? I need something new. Christine and I need something new. Tell me in the comments. Facebook.com/group/second shot.
Matt Stoker 1 on Instagram, as well as in the Facebook group, and hanging around whenever a new video premieres. Leave your comments there. Come watch it along with us. It's a lot of fun.
At Ignorance on Fire, at Heath Oaks, Instagram, Facebook. You can get me the most at it, and share it with your friends. Tell them how much you love us and how much you love the show. We need all the support we can get. Love you. We'll see you next time.